young girl from Enugu that the Lord has showed mercy. A few years ago when I came abroad, my brother went abroad and was deported back. So we have a history of you go abroad and you come back empty-handed. It got to my turn. I couldn't tell my mom I was traveling because I didn't want to put her through that same pressure. So my brother's wife introduced me to Nsppd. I did the application. It took months. The documentation they gave me where I got the job had a week to expire. The passport came back after 2 months plus and the visa was denied. I went back to God. In fact, I did not even go back to prayer. Let me be honest. I was crying in Spa in Enugu. And my brother called me and said, what is the name of that your God? That your Eroi that used to disturb us every 7 o'clock. I now remembered I have not prayed. Luckily for me, Pastor was preaching and Pastor said, you just finished crying about a visa. Go back. This time, it will not take up to 7 days. I laughed though, because my document was actually 7 days. I have to rewrite IELTS because the one I wrote before was not UKVI. That was the reason for the rejection. That day, I went to Lagos without a passport. I did a front page of my passport to Lagos. I got there. I was at the staircase crying. One of the supervisors came up. She was an Nsppd and she looked at me. It was so loud. You are disturbing the environment. He looked, Nsppd, why are you crying? I said, Mommy, I don't have passport. Oh. She said, what do you have? I showed her what I said. Go to British Council. By the time I got there, British Council, another Nsppd was the gate man. Mind you, British Council had closed. The man stood there, said, cry, Madam is an Nsppd and she's coming out. I stood there, I was crying. She met me, she said, young lady, why are you crying? They have finished morning prayer. I was repeating the Nsppd song, the one. I said, Mommy, please, oh, see. She took me inside, there was no date. She said, okay, let me speak to my Oga. She went and said, are you fit to write the exam the next day? I said, yes, ma, I am fit. In fact, give me today, I will write. She said, come tomorrow. I came, so they booked me for IELTS UKVI the next day. I went, I wrote, I smashed. This time around 9.0 for someone that was not prepared. I did the application. There was no money to fly to Abuja from Lagos. The woman looked at me and said, do you have money? I said, where? Do you have the passport? She controlled the passport from Enugu to Lagos State. She said, take this money, bought the flight to Abuja. I got to Abuja the next day. There was no network in TLS contacts. The gate man told me, do you know how many people that be here? I told her, looked and said, I'm an Nsppd. My heart got stronger. One senator's wife stood by the side. A young lady like you, Nsppd. I said, yes, my mommy, I'm an Nsppd. She said, she called someone that came out, took me in, did my thumbprint, and I left. Not up to 7 days like Papa declared the visa. In fact, I was on Nsppd. Papa said, you will get a testimony that will make you scream like a mad person. I got the message from UKVI. It has been successful. I ran out. I was screaming. I thought that was the end. I got to the UK. I didn't like the job I came with. So I told God, I want a job that will help me with my career. I got the interview. All of a sudden, incidents came up. I did not do this, cha. I beg, cha. I said, okay, another problem. I went back to my prayer room again. In fact, before I got home, the employment letter they gave me, they withdrew it. They withdrew the employment letter. So I said, okay, no problem. I cried into depression. My brother called me again, Madam Eroi, go back to Eroi. Mind you, my brother is not an Nsppd. So most times he makes jest of me because I will say, I'm Aderoi. She said, Aderoi, oh yeah, go back. I went back to God in prayer. I made an application 4 months ago. And that application, the day I went for that interview, they did not see my name. All of a sudden, the same interview, they just popped up, we have an interview. I said, for interview that you people said my name was not there. I went, we were 52 of us. In the morning, I'm very early, I keep to time. During the Nsppd prayer conference, Papa said, get communion. There was nowhere to buy water. I owned toilet water. I prayed over it, I drank it. I drank, I cleaned myself. We are 52 of us. Out of 52, it was 12 people that passed. You cannot drink toilet water as communion and come and fail. I came out. When I was doing that, to be honest, I did it with faith. Because if you give me now, step to, the tab, I will not even take it from you. But when you are really, my paper is good, but I want to move to a better organization. Because there is a history of returning without anything. I got the job. Now, God did not only give me a job I wanted. God gave me a job that my manager, when she sees me like this, hey, the kind of happiness that will come to her head will turn. This same girl that my uncle, out of anger, told me that I will not amount to nothing. Uncle, this is the girl, oh. My mother sold everything. Before I even told my mother I was coming abroad, my mother must have look at me. She said, "Are you sure you're the UK? Call me on video call." I will call my mom. My mom will look at me. She will start crying. This same girl that would not amount to nothing, they said, has just imported a car from the US from her mom. Is erecting a building for her mom. What God cannot do. Pastor Jerry, I want to say thank you. And to my fellow youths, hold God though. Because one of the reasons the senators are looking, she look at me, she say, "Young girl like you doing Jesus." Yes, so I do Jesus, so because I don't get any other option. In fact, this is my journey when I was coming. It was at Nsppd and I met her. Like, this woman looked at me and said, "You look so, white people, you look so different." I said, "Ma, I don't have enough money." She said, "I will give you $3,000. Add it and go." I said, "You said you are an NSPPD." I said, "No, I am an NSPPD. What God cannot do." And she has this, she said, "Can you link me to this?" I said, "You cannot link, I'll send you the link." So what I'm saying is, do God. This God who has broken the history of going abroad without nothing. This